The building and the fighting is going to continue in the original net animation series, Gundam Build Fighters Battlogue. You guys know that I'm excited to see anything related to the Gundam Build Fighters franchise. This is an anime series which I originally thought was just going to tank. I thought it was going to be one of the worst, most embarrassing things since SD Gundam Force. And it ended up being a surprisingly amazing anime series, despite the fact that it is completely drenched in cheese and tropes. But still, it manages to be incredibly palatable and incredibly fun to watch. So I've been highly anticipating the announcement of a third season of Gundam Build Fighters, and it hasn't happened yet. So in the meantime, we're going to be getting these little bite-sized episodes of Gundam Build Fighters, which is going to follow a lot of random characters from Season 1 and Season 2, and we're going to get to see a lot of brand new scenarios. And that, of course, brings us to the very first episode of Gundam Build Fighters Battlogue, which has got to be one of the most meta-heavy episodes of the entire series. Gundam Build Fighters is built upon the foundation of pure fan service for people who've been watching Gundam since the friggin' 70s. And this episode right here totally delivers on that promise, as not only do we get to see variations of our favorite mobile suits in battle, but we get to see some classic characters return in the form of a quasi-personality AI character. It's pretty awesome, it's heavy on the sci-fi, and it's got some epic Gundam battles. The story in this episode involves the character of Tatsuya Yuki, otherwise known as Meijin Kawaguchi III, the ultimate Gundam builder and battler, and he returns with his good friend Alan Adams as they go to the Yajima Trading Center, where they're getting ready to work on a brand new self-control mode for the build fights. This is going to be a very revolutionary thing for Gundam Build Fighters, because now people who aren't necessarily good at building Gundam models and battling with them can now just put them in the machine and allow a quasi-personality AI character to take over. What this means is that they're able to actually take all of the classic Gundam characters from the entire franchise and basically place them into the mobile suit that you designed for them. This leads me to believe that maybe they're testing the waters here, and we might see something more like this in Season 3. I mean, can you imagine the main characters from the first and second season actually having to battle against all of the main pilots from the original Gundam series? The possibilities just write themselves, not to mention getting to actually see these characters come to life again and getting to see some of the greatest matchups that you could possibly imagine. And that's exactly what we get in this episode, as both Meijin Kawaguchi and Alan Adams choose their respective mobile suits and their AI pilots. The mobile suits that they decide to go with are very good for these characters, with Meijin Kawaguchi actually choosing another version of the Zaku, which is known as the Ballistic Zaku, which is basically your run-of-the-mill Char Aznable Zaku, except that it has a lot of cool power-ups, like a giant cannon and all of these funnels that it has on its shoulders. My favorite new ability of the Ballistic Zaku, however, is its ability to actually remove its shoulder pads and wear them like giant, spiky boxing gloves. Yes, that's right, it's awesome. And Alan Adams is going to go with the Reversible Gundam, which is an upgraded version of the Reborn's Gundam from Gundam 00, and to go along with both of these mobile suits, they choose these two pilots. Char Aznable, of course, is going to be in the Ballistic Zaku, and in the Reversible Gundam is going to be the main villain of Gundam 00, Ribbons Allmark. Now, this scene alone is great because we have Char Aznable, who is going up against a character who is also from the same voice actor of Amuro Ray, and you can tell that that immediately annoys him. He hates just the sound of his voice, and boom, the battle just kicks off. And guys, just take my word for it, it looks freaking incredible. It's super fast and super fluid, and the best thing about it, all of it though, is that the characters' personalities are intact. They act exactly the way that you would, with Char being incredibly calculating and surprised at every moment while always seeming to come up with a great strategy to take down his opponents, with Ribbons Allmark being incredibly high on himself and relying mostly on his super powerful Gundam, which has the ability to transform into a number of different forms, one of them being a tank, which is freaking awesome. I love it, and not to mention their entire battle just goes all over the place, with them actually crashing into a space colony, fighting in the city, making their way to a giant desert battlefield, going up into space. It just pretty much covers every major ground from what you would want to see from a typical Gundam battle, and that alone makes this exciting. And what's great is that's just like the first part of the episode. It looks like Ribbons Allmark is actually about to be defeated by Char Aznable when suddenly Alan Adams decides he's going to jump in and he's going to change the AI personality to someone else. And who else could it be except for Amuro Ray himself, which is of course completing the joke at the beginning of the episode when everything comes full circle, with Char actually questioning, why does he sound just like Ribbons? Why do you guys have the same voice? It's just a really great moment for fans of the series who are really, really big fans of these characters and their voice work. And now we get an epic battle between Char Aznable and Amuro Ray, the first one that we have seen in years. And arguably, just due to the animation alone, it's probably their most epic battle they've ever had. And don't get me wrong, I love their fight at the very end of Char's counterattack and everything, despite the fact that it didn't really have too much finality behind it. But getting to see these two characters actually battle each other and clash into each other on the moon with a massive explosion with their fucking super-powered robots, just, man, that is just so much fun to watch, and definitely made this the best part of this entire episode, especially for me, because I just love the original Gundam anime series, and any references to Char and Amuro is always something that I enjoy, and man, their personalities were just on point right here, especially the way they clashed and took things so personally, even bringing up their friend Lala, who was killed at the very end of Gundam. Like, they don't have to do that at all, but that is how well designed the AIs are. They replicate these characters' personalities so perfectly, and that makes me want to see all these characters return for a third season, if only just to have maybe like an exhibition match where we get to see some of the characters going up against some classic Gundam pilots, or maybe even some of the villains with their distinctive mobile suits, maybe even give all of them some really cool upgrades. I mean, just the possibilities here truly are endless, and man, it makes me just want to see more of that. Hell, they could even team up with those pilots and have some like team battles with some of the classic characters from the series. They could combine with them. They could do so many crazy things, man. That's what's great about this one, are the possibilities for the future of Gundam Build Fighters. So, what's the rundown on this episode right here? At just 10 minutes long, this one feels like almost a full episode of Gundam Build Fighters, and that's because it's paced so perfectly, and the fact that it's basically just a big 10-minute action scene of seeing favorite Gundam characters beat the snot out of each other. But damned if it doesn't look awesome the entire time. It's hard not to get excited when there isn't something new related to Gundam Build Fighters, and I know that people are probably going to appreciate this a lot more than the last little OVA we got, which was the Island Wars special, which personally I had no problem with, but a lot of people don't like the cast from the second season of Gundam Build Fighters, which, no, they're definitely not my favorite, especially when compared to the first season, but I still like them a lot. But let's get back on track here. This one is going to be following Meijin Kawaguchi, who is definitely a really fun character. Still just as over-the-top as always, wearing his ridiculous glasses and slicking his hair back like he's some sort of weird Yu-Gi-Oh character. Again, that's one of the geniusest things about the show, is that it sort of carries the nature of, say, Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh, but still manages to make it entertaining for just about every viewer of every age, whether it be just the intense action or the fact that despite how incredibly goofy and crazy everything is, it actually takes itself seriously. Thus, it ends up having a lot of fun with itself. That and just the possibility of all the fan service that they can throw at you in the span of just a couple of minutes makes this one hell of an accomplishment. This was a super great little OVA right here, and apparently we're going to be getting a second one soon, which I cannot wait to see. It looks like it's probably going to be a little more lighthearted than this one was right here, but who knows, maybe like this one, it could be giving us some more previews of the future. Hopefully there is going to be a future, and most importantly, I'd love to hear from you guys. Make sure to tell me what you thought about this little ONA special for Gundam Build Fighters. What did you think of the battle between Char Aznable, Ribbons, and Amuro? Do you have any favorite moments from this episode? Any things that reminded you of the old days? I think we can all agree that one of the coolest callbacks in this episode was watching Char Aznable do his classic kick attack against Ribbons Allmark. I think I've seen that thing replicated so many times in other Gundam series, but it's always really fun, and it reminds me why I'm such a big fan of this franchise in the first place. And do you want to see a Season 3 of Gundam Build Fighters? And if you do, what would you like to see from that? Make sure to tell me all your thoughts in the comments section below. I never give a score for this episode right here. here. It's kind of hard to score it, but I will say that it's entertaining as hell. I had no complaints while watching it, and it's basically just a big pile of fan service for fans of the franchise, so I'm giving it a 5 out of 5. As a Gundam fan, I wholly approve, and I think it's something that all Gundam fans need to check out, if only for the fact that it has a great what-if scenario. So there it is. Thank you guys for watching this video. Make sure to subscribe to the channel for more things Gundam and anime related. Make sure to hit that like button. Share this video with all your friends. I'd really appreciate it. I'll see you guys next time, and as always, stay dandy, baby.